And here we go. We have our draft here visible once again. The next map, which Ramen is picking, is going to be Holy Island.
So
Now,
I'm gonna go immediately in and ask you, sir. You have Rus available. It is Holy Island. You pick OTD. What is your thought process? Tell me what he's got going. Okay, he's going to get an Aachen. It's not quite as good as the HRE Aachen, but it's decent, right?
I actually spoke with Themos about his draft before this game, and Ramen as well. Now, Themos was under the impression that Zushi's legacy on this map is so difficult to overcome, and frankly, he's right.
is.
So even with Rus, and I'll be honest, he's not very comfortable with Rus on this map. And, you know, there's a lot of different maps. It is a hybrid water map with a high emphasis on water. It's a very difficult map to play, even at the highest level, right? So opting for essentially a throwaway save here, I would estimate, right? But however, instead of Jushi's legacy on Ramen's side, we see Japanese instead, and I think it might be a similar case in Ramen's position, right? Maybe he doesn't feel fully comfortable with that Jushi on Holy Island because it's not the easiest playstyle to play. I would say, you know, you have to be quite careful with some forced drop-offs on the Imperial official supervised production buildings from your villages. The macro can be a bit difficult early on, especially in terms of the age-up balance due to its cheaper cost. So I think comfort picks here for both players. Throwaway for Themos is what I would estimate. But, you know, Japanese, they dominate on this map, as we have seen time and time again.
The Japanese, though, they have an execution barrier here, right? You need to make those shinobi work. The faster production speed on your, like the cheaper fishing bows, rather, they're coming in really handy because they're passive. You can always make use of that. But like the shinobi, you have to actually get them in, make them a threat, a factor in this game, and we'll see if Ramen can perform up to scratch. As we see Themos immediately going for the water here. I mean, no surprises. It is... Let's look at that fish spawn. I mean, Ramen does have pretty much all in the back there. Themos having a little bit more deep sea fish. I'm not miscounting here. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 4, 5... Never mind. I can count up to 7. Myriad, please confirm me on this. I can count up to 7.
Yes, you
it's
can.
Just my eyesight
count up
is
to
failing
7.
at this old age.
I do feel you. I'm at a slightly younger age, but it's starting to fail me as well, without a doubt, needing glasses of my own. However, yeah, the interesting fish spread here. Themos does have slightly more forward fish there on the frontal side compared to Ramen, but his fish are also, he has more fish that are closer towards the shoreline than Ramen. So slightly unsafer, but also closer in terms of income.
I would favor the closer spawn.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. It can be difficult to call. We'll just have to see the level of commitment from these players right on the water map. But, you know, dock opening from both players, very standard, exactly what you'd expect here. I must say, you know, Order the Dragon, it's, although somewhat capable water civilization, right? The 15% bonus gathering speed on the Aachen Chapel, which they don't actually need a prelate's side to obtain, as they have no access to the prelate, unlike their counterpart, the Holy Roman Empire, is quite significant, right? That early economic boost is certainly useful and comes in handy, but on the other side, of course, a powerhouse civilization on these hybrid water maps, right? The Japanese, so oppressive in that feudal age with the shinobi. As you mentioned yourself, Askeladd, the cheaper fishing cost on the Japanese docks is so significant, right? It allows you to scale not only more of them, but also have a faster rage up as a result, so you're left with a choice, right? Either you build a lot more fishing ships than your opponent and age up slightly later, or you'll have the same amount and age up earlier, right? Which is always a useful thing to go for.
I'm almost a little bit disappointed that Themos did not opt to go for like a potential Dark Age Spear opening here. But then again, I feel like it's very hard to make work here. But depending on the spawn that the Japanese has, and the gold is on the one side, there would be stone on the other side. He always has options unless the spawn is like extremely in your favor.
Yes, potentially a Dark Age Gilded Spearman opening from Themos on the Order of the Dragon could have been something we could see. We have seen it in the past. It can be a little bit scary to deal with the extra torch damage, making it so that, although there are fewer units, they do deal more torch damage, right? Fitting for their Gilded Elite selves. But already age up on the way for Themos here on Order of the Dragon. You can tell he understands what's coming for him, so he doesn't want to risk getting caught by those shinobi with no military ships out to protect himself, and he's going to age up quite significantly before Ramen here on Order of the Dragon.
Ramen being very greedy here. Full hard commitment on the water. It's 25 to 18 workers at this point. And he's slowly making his way to feudal age as well. But even with the distance, like the distance is pretty significant on Holy Island here, so you're not super worried if your opponent hits that age up and you're a little bit late on it. But if you wait around too long, then that galley is going to come in and your fishing's gone.
And you can see Themos really worried about that early possible military ship and shinobi from Ramen, adding an additional 7 villages on the after-chapel. Not quite seeing just how late Ramen's age up really is going to be here. But yeah, as you mentioned, Askeladd, huge commitment on fishing ships here by Ramen, which is an interesting choice, right? He's not going to prioritize too much on trying to deny Themos' water here. He just wants to get his fishing economy up, booming super quickly and aggressively, and most likely look for an early, powerful castle timing.
So far, it's not going punished. Themos not producing anything right now. There's the first galley, as I've cursed it out. But he's on 1 dock, so Ramen has prepared the second dock already, so that delayed his age up even more. If Themos just had the information here, knowing, okay, there's double docks on the other side, he has 8 more fishing ships than I do. Oof, well, maybe I'll come visit. Second dock going up for him now as well. So he's gonna be able to match that, but the shinobi is coming into play. And you can just sabotage and disable the production for 30 seconds.
Yes, and that might prove somewhat significant here, right? I mean, already we see archer ships straight away in the queue for Ramen. He knows what's coming for him, right? Being so behind in age up. A second shinobi in queue as well, as the first one pops out just now. But it's difficult on this map, right? Because due to the distance of the deep sea fish from that shoreline, even if a scout does move into position, depending on the spawn, it can be difficult to gauge the number of fishing ships that the opponent has, right? So that commitment, besides the age-up timing, you don't have too much information to go on a lot of the time. Galley
coming in here.
Just now.
Ramen, hello.
Arrows, reacting in time. One might just go down here. Yep, one does go down, and I don't know how the fishing economy is at this point in time. And as arrows shoot out from the archer ship, he does have his own now to respond, and it will be pushed away.
Double archer ship out for Ramen at this point. Themos also with the double galley. We have a demo in the queue behind this, whereas we have for Ramen the first Hulk. So we've got that counter, and Themos also with the Hulk on the board. But look at that! There's a black-clad man coming for you.
Sneaky shinobi there on the back, fitting to his name, right? As he comes in, first shank comes out onto villager, second, and it only takes 3 quick swipes of that assassination dagger as one vill goes down to match the one fishing ship that Ramen has lost on water. However, no second one there. Shunshin, it does come in, and the arrow just barely escapes with his life there, that shinobi. Ooh, that was close.
Themos striking back on the water, moving forward with the galleys. His demo ship is not here right now, unfortunately. So he's taking a lot of damage on those archer ships, and Ramen looks to be holding here with just the one Hulk protecting him. He has 2 more in the queue, whereas Themos is not producing on the water right now. And we've got more attack pings coming out from the gold at the top.
That's right, big priority placed here on the archer ships by Themos. 3 out already, only 1 Hulk and one demolition ship out here on the way towards the front line. Surprising to see so many archer ships from Themos. It's useful if you can get rid of a lot of those fishing ships quickly, but it's quite difficult. 2 more workers do go down for Themos there, and you know, these are not regular villages, are they, Askeladd? These are Gilded Dragon villages, right? So they are fewer than the opponents normally, and they also gather faster, so losing those hurts a lot more.
Yeah, this is quite the loss there. He did put up a tower towards his gold, but with just a quick dip and dive, Ramen coming in, killing one on the woodline again. And you can't even wall off, right? Because they'll just step over it. because we needed the teleport in this game, and I'm meaning that in a very obviously. Yeah, I just wanted it. The kid in me wanted the teleport.
Well, you know, the smoke bombs on the Shinobi do make that possible, right? And so puff the smoke, suddenly they reappear behind you with a dagger. Nothing personal, kid, right, as they say. But...
Oh, look at Ramen's resources. This is piling up nicely. He does have the bigger water force still as well. And this is a really dangerous timing.
And this is what we expected, right? With so many fishing ships being made in that Dark Age for Ramen, this is what he wants, right? He needs to get that castle timing and leverage this kind of a food lead into a large number of units and castles that he can just overwhelm Themos Order the Dragon with. Behind this, we see Shinobi picking up another villager there for Ramen, and I don't know, with a military ship lead as well for Ramen here, as well as being closer to the age up. It's starting to look a bit rough for Themos as he missed macros there, floating 800 wood, but not much production. Only one springboard ship in queue now, second now again in queue, another one on the way.
He's lacking the food to produce the ships.
That's right, and double broadaxe only now finishing up for Themos here, so you'd have loved to have that earlier for sure. No, I don't think he's producing many more fishing ships behind this Themos is, which could end up really hurting him here. And if he's not ready for this castle age, he could prove to be a very problematic defense.
Yeah, Ramen is still stacking up his fleet, even while macroing for castles slowly there. 3 demo ships in queue. I'm getting slight flashbacks here from just seeing the demo ship with a number more than 2 on the field. Oh. Did you watch those Lucifron games?
Oh, you bet I watched them, Askeladd, you know.
They were so beautiful. It was like fireworks.
Absolutely. Master of Realms, we have seen a resurgence in an insane number of demo ships to play.
What do you mean? What is insanity, really? It didn't work out, so it was insane, right? That's how do you define it? Ramen is up to the resources he needs for Castle Age. Floating gate, and he has the stable prepared as well. This could be extremely dangerous for Themos, potentially fatal. I mean, the Dragon Spears, the feudal Dragon Spears, they trade out fine with any sort of cavalry in the game. Even the Dark Age one is basically better than an Imperial Spearman. But, yeah, there's going to be a lot of knights moving in.
Although those gilded spearmen are much stronger than normal one, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, really, isn't it? Because as we know, the mounted samurai, which is definitely going to be the plan here for Ramen, with that stable already prepped, 13 on the floating gate, they have access to the deflective armor, as we have seen time and time again, right?
First poke's free.
Absolutely, like, you know, and they attack so slow, don't they?
Oh
and
no,
so
look at that one Shinobi denying the entire wood line.
Yeah, once again, the Shinobi in perfect position there, outside of the range of the tower, outside of the town center's range, forcing all the villagers to relocate. And Themos is not too far away from Castle Age himself, but already we see actually no mounted samurai on the way just yet. I'm sure they're going to come in just soon. Instead, Ramen, aptly so, prioritizing his military fleet instead as well on the water. We see the upgrades coming in there, arrow slits for one, as well as armored hulls coming in, which will give him extra resistance in terms of health and armor on those fishing ships. And he could look to make a push here onto the water and deny it completely from Themos.
Yeah, this is really dangerous for him. Right? He was very defensively orientated and trying to get the water for himself now, which, of course, in Holy Island, if you win the water, you have access to the trade as well. It is extremely strong, but Themos not really with a super big water presence at all. Like, he did go for the 7 hugs, so this is a significant investment by himself. But on the land, we only have the 1 mounted samurai so far, and Themos is going up with the Regnates. So he still has that option going for him. The land is still free.
Yeah, I must say I'm a little bit surprised by Ramen's priority here. I mean, you do want to press your advantage on water when you have those upgrades, but very slow here on the mounted samurai for him. Only 1 out now on the field, no more in queue.
Oh, and those demos!
They're going in directly to the archer ships. They do deal some good damage on them, and the sprinkle ships do focus them down. However, this will be a tough ball for them. But Themos on the background coming in.
There.
Yes, painful connections there for Ramen, but still with such a lead. Only 6 sprinkle ship left here for Themos, and no archer ships to deny any potential. Themos coming in. One does get stopped, and that's the last demo on Ramen's side. But 6 sprinkle ships on the side of Ramen, more on the way in the direction of Themos' docks. And miss micro there from Themos, but even then, I don't think it matters.
The armor pulse is just so good.
Absolutely, and yeah, that's enough for him to tap out, do this water, and GG 2-1 in favor of Ramen.
Yeah. I wonder, how much do you think these guys have actually practiced the water matchup? Like, I know from experience, from talking to multiple people, even people in High Conqueror above 1700 elo, they hate water. They don't play it. They ban it out. They don't want to have anything to do with that.
Every player is different, right? I would say, generally speaking, most players opt not to play some of these water maps, and I think that's particularly common for Holy Island. It is a very popular tournament map at the moment. It's extremely fun to watch, as we have seen this game as well, right? The focus on land and water is quite exhilarating to observe, but what that results in is a very increased difficulty in playing it, right? I mean, essentially you have 2 games going on at the same time, don't you? Not only do you have to focus on the naval battle as well, but the land at the same time, and having your attention split in these 2 directions, it can be difficult, not only for your attention span, but also for buttons, right? You end up wanting another pair of hands to be able to keep up with everything that's going on.
Look, then you need that extra set of keybinds as well for your military ships, where usually your land units should be, and it's a little uncomfortable for little old me, at least.
And not just you as well, other players at the same time. I mean, we've even heard from fantastic players like Marine Lord himself, who has said that he had to reassess his hotkeys for these kind of water maps in the previous Master of Realms tournament, where there was a big prevalence over lots of different kind of maps, many of them being water.